Ciao ragazzi, welcome to JSG podcast. Hello and greetings to all Bianconera families around the world. Welcome back to JSG podcast, the podcast channel brought to you by Juventus Club of Singapore. For today, the new episode number 18, we have a new special guest. But before that, let me shout out to all subscribers, viewers to these channels, even your comments. Thanks again for following up or follow this podcast channel. Without further delay, let's start the show. Okay, greetings again, Juventini of the world. Welcome back again to the JSG podcast, the new episode number 18. With me here, we have a Juventini all the way from Ireland. As you already know, maybe some of you might know him or new viewers might know him. So he will tell us his story, how he became a Juventini. But before that, I would like to shout out to all subscribers on the JSG podcast, your comments, the like, the share. It's appreciated from us. So without further delay, let's welcome our friend Colin Power. Thank you and welcome to JSG podcast.
Thanks, Iskander, and just hello to everybody, and thanks very much for having me. It's great to chat to people from all over the world about our common, our common pastime or big part of our life, Juventus, and we all love it so much. It's great.
So it's like it's a dream come true for us that we can meet a lot of Juventini from around the world. Not meet eyes to eyes, but this is the only time because of COVID-19. The podcast does help people understanding of how. So you can share the viewers how you became a Juventini.
For me, it goes back to the mid-90s. So I'm, how old am I? I'm 36. I was kind of growing up, getting into football in the 90s, like playing football and watching it, And like most people in Ireland, actually watch English football. So teams like Manchester United and Liverpool but for me, actually, I suppose it was accidental because we didn't have cable TV, so you had to pay for the Premier League to watch it, or else.
In Singapore.
Yeah. So, and it was actually quite expensive, and a lot of people at the time, what they would do is they might go to the pub. So you know what a pub is, obviously,
yeah.
But it's big thing in Ireland anyway, going to the pub. But so that's generally what people did. Instead of paying for like a subscription to watch the football, they go to the pub. But I was too young, obviously. So, I got to watch whatever football was on the TV at home, which was free. And the Serie A was actually on twice a week. You had a highlight show called Gazzetta Italia, and you also had then the Sunday games, so that's really where I got into it. I mean, according to my dad anyway, the first Juventus game we watched was in '93, and that's Borussia Dortmund versus Juventus in the UEFA Cup final. Now, Juve won that game. They won that game 6-1 on aggregate, and it's interesting to talk about, actually, because back then, maybe a lot of viewers don't know, but a final of the European Championship was 2 legs. There was 2 games. So, yeah. I barely remember that anyway, but it was kind of in the lead up to USA in '94, the World Cup, and Ireland had been drawn in Italy's group. So everybody was naturally thinking, okay, let's watch the Italians. Let's see
Oh,
are they any good, you know? And yeah, so I mean, Roberto Baggio was playing at the time, Fabrizio Ravanelli, Luca Vialli. Um, you know, these are great
yes,
players.
yes.
You
Great
know,
legend. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I remember in particular the guy who was my favorite at the time was Ravanelli. And he used to
Yes,
have
yes,
this
true.
celebration with
Yes,
the
yes.
jersey over his head, you know. And I just remember like you'd be playing football in the back garden or on the
Yeah.
street with your friends, and people would do that as well, you know. And it was funny. Obviously, he moved to England afterwards and became a lot more famous for doing that then. But
Yeah.
I had seen him for quite a few years in Juve. But yeah, um, like I mean, I suppose to talk about my favorite player, obviously Del Piero was excellent for me. I thought he was amazing when he came on the scene. You know, Baggio was finishing up in '95, and Del Piero was kind of was coming on the scene there, and you know he'd electric pace, great finisher, and you know just really strong mentally as well, you know. And but he would have been one of my favorites, but the main one was this guy here. So it's
Oh, I have that too.
you
Yeah,
want that as well, yeah?
yes, yes,
Yeah. It's I got that
yes,
recently.
yes. He's a maestro, you know.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
he touches,
So
yes, of course, nice. Everything he touches turns to gold, you know. Where
yeah,
it's like the ball stuck in his feet like a glue. He can,
yeah.
wow,
He
amazing.
could do anything like
Yes, yes,
you could kick the ball to him anyway, and he like control it with his shoulder, with
yeah.
his chest, with his back, with his anything, you know. So yeah, I was amazed. Like, I mean, I just used to love watching watching Serie A and watching Juventus because they had players like this, you know. And it was funny because I used to meet all my friends and they'd be asking, well, you know, why are you watching Juventus? Why are you watching that? And then like when the Champions League will come along and
Yeah.
you know Juventus will play against Manchester United and other teams like that, and then they would see, okay, this is really good football. This is, you know, Juventus are a really good team, and yeah, I mean, then they realize why, you know, a lot of people watch Serie A, a lot of people watch Juventus. But
By the way, is there lots of Irish people supporting Juventus on Ireland?
um, yeah, not so much. I have to say, like I mean, from where I'm from, which is in like the western part of Ireland, it's a small city.
Yeah.
Um, I never really noticed a lot of Juventus supporters. I thought I was the only one, you know.
Oh, okay.
But
But is there any official fans club in Ireland in Juventus?
there is, yeah, there is one in Dublin, but I'm not sure how active they are. But obviously with COVID now,
Yeah.
people can't meet up, you know. But I think they used to meet up to watch games together, but maybe they're not so active on the internet, like, you know. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, in the last maybe 10 years, I definitely would have noticed that there's like a lot more kids going around with obviously Ronaldo jerseys, you know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and
Yes. Yes.
Dybala jerseys, and but a lot more Juventus jerseys. But I think it's because the Juventus have really changed how they market the club. You know, they want to be a worldwide club, so like they'll, you know, they make sure that they've got content going out in different languages, and like obviously English as well, and you know they go on tours in Asia
Yeah.
you know, and in America as well, and yeah, so and their online content is very popular. Like they have a lot of followers, so that all helps. Like, but no, like definitely when I was growing up, there weren't. I was one of the only few. It was just because you know, like because of the Champions League and watching all those games that people really knew about Juventus. But so yeah.
So like you say, is there anybody that influenced you to become a Juventini or
Not really. It really was just my own thing. I know most people, it's because of like their father, or maybe they
yeah?
have they have friends that are um, Juventus supporters. But no, like, it was literally, it's just literally because that was the only thing I could watch.
Is it
And
because of the stripe jersey that is very much different from the others? Maybe.
yeah, maybe, but yeah, I mean, I always did like their jerseys, but yeah, it was just because I liked the players. Because when I tuned in, you could follow them every week, and Juventus were always winning. And like,
Yes.
this is the thing.
Yes.
This is what kept me coming back, and it's very, very important, like, that Juventus continue to win. But that's I could follow them every week. I could see Vialli and Ravanelli scoring every week, and that's what did it for me. But
Okay. So are you happy with the situation now, with the players, how they play, that when the teams keep on winning? Are you happy right now, or is there any still rooms for improvement?
I think there's always room for
Yes,
improvement,
that's true.
but yeah, I am happy. Uh, Obviously, like, the start of the season was really tough,
Yeah.
because like the performances weren't great, and you know uh, you could tell even when like, Pirlo was worried. It was a very like a tough time for him, because he had to try and learn everything really, really, really quickly with no time. But I have to say, I am happy. Like, I think Juventus have had quite a good season when you think about everything. I mean, so like the summer mercato, it
Yeah.
lasted for a month. They only had a month,
Yeah.
just
Yes.
30 days to do everything, and they did quite a good job. Am I happy with the way they're playing now? I think, like, we've brought in some good players, like in
Yes.
Weston. Yeah,
Yeah.
like Weston McKennie's been excellent. Arthur is getting better and better.
Yes. Yes. I agree with that. Yeah.
I'm
So,
just sorry.
is it true the loss to Inter is a wake up call for the team? They need to not to lose, but to win every game is important, because the road to number 10, the Scudetto, it's now, as you can see, it's not a big gap now. Every like one about five team, it's the gap. It's become closer and closer. That's what's more exciting. So as you already know that Serie A was voted the best league in 2020 for that. So it's not like the old times, like but people will say Serie A is boring. Everything we already know. Juventus will win the cup, but let we remind them is that it's not easy to win 9 Scudetto in a row. It's
Yeah,
not that easy. Okay,
yeah.
so to win that is a big achievement, and we are proud, and we are happy that they win that. So now the road to number 10. Is it, would say, are you optimistic that we can win the number 10? Are you still not so confident in the players or in the team? What's
Yeah. I mean, I think we can definitely win it. Considering the games that we have to play, like, we still have to play Milan again. We still have to play Inter again. We still got to play Napoli again, twice. Sorry, not again. maybe like, it could be this time next year.
Yes.
He's still waiting to play Napoli.
They could postpone it again, and
maybe everybody will get COVID.
Yes.
I don't wish that on anybody.
Yeah.
But But I mean, do I think they can do it? Of course they can do it. Like you mentioned earlier on about Inter, was that like a wake-up call? I've noticed a change in attitude anyway, definitely. A change in attitude. And I think that's what everybody asked for at the time. You know, it was just that you know the players were a little bit kind of flat. Maybe they weren't running as much. Maybe they looked a little bit kind of lost, a little bit confused, maybe in that match. And maybe Pirlo also got the tactics wrong. You know, that's also a possibility. But you know, he certainly got the tactics right in the Coppa Italia. You know, and he didn't really. He didn't really make too many mistakes there. I mean, it looked at the end that Antonio Conte was actually the one who lost out, you know, and that's good. It's really good to see Pirlo doing that he's learning from game to game, you know, and not only are the players getting better and better and, you know, getting used to each other and getting to know each other better, but Pirlo is learning as well. So, but the funny thing is, I'm never really worried about the big games like Inter, AC Milan, Napoli. I'm never really worried about the big games. It's the little games. Like
true. Yes.
And those are the ones, like, you know, they help you win the title. Like, you know, when you have to go to Benevento or
Crotone.
Yeah, and it's hard to motivate yourself because you're like, okay, we're traveling down here. You know, we really only want to get in, do the match, and get out of here as quick as possible. This isn't, you know, they just want to get in and get out, like, and it's hard to motivate yourself maybe for those games. But that's what Juventus are always good at, winning those games, not slipping up, and we can't really afford to slip up right now, because we're 7 points behind AC Milan. Yeah. So 7 points is okay with a game in hand. We can beat Napoli, but we may have to go and beat Milan and beat Inter in the league in order to catch them, and that's possible. So yeah.
So I think Pirlo have a lot of luck. Means that as you can see, in a week you have to play 3 matches in a week, day in day out. Yeah, it's the players. Hopefully there's no injury, but fatigue also does count that. But the good thing that is like there's lots of players are ready to cover in or to replace the injuries. It's not like when Sarri time there's none for him. When someone's injured, he can't have a replacement. So it's good that everybody is fine, everybody is ready, and not forgetting that we are into all the 4 trophies, the Champions League, the knockout stages, go, the Scudetto, Coppa Italia, and Pirlo win the Super Coppa. Means that a rookie coach who knows that he can win all 4 trophies for Juventus. It might happen, and if it's happened, it's something like a magical for a rookie. Like when people, some of the Juventus have doubt on him because he's a rookie manager. Maybe we can accept that we don't win anything. No, it's no way. But he proved us wrong that bit by bit he can win, and what maybe the Champions League, but it's too high to hope for. But step by step we are doing that. Is good. Like if, for example, the games against Roma, what's the difference between the game against Roma and the games against Inter? Is there any similarity, or we perform well against Inter, or we perform well against Roma? What are your takes on it?
I think there are a couple of tactical similarities. Like he obviously played with a lot of emphasis on the defense.
Yeah.
For both games. So the Inter game, definitely, and the Roma game, certainly. But also, you could see that Juventus were happy to sit back a little bit. And
That's worrying me, you know. They come
yeah, I know. That's the thing. Like I did see the tactics, like because Roma were actually playing such a high line.
Yeah, true.
If Juve sat back, they could try to catch them out. So if you could see Ronaldo maybe running down the side of the Roma defense, or you could see Morata doing the same, and the Juve midfielders, or even Bonucci playing a really early pass to get around that defense. I could see that tactic happening early in the first half. Now, yeah, I tend to agree with you as well. I don't really like when we sit back,
Yes.
But I think maybe he only did that because it was Roma, and Roma actually were without Edin Dzeko. I mean, he came on as a sub, but he didn't start the game. So I think maybe he was he was thinking, okay, it'll be fine. We've got Chiellini, we've got Bonucci back there. I don't think they're going to score, so it's okay to sit back, and then we'll hit them on the break. And which he actually said that after the match, that we did the same thing to them that they did to us in the first game, which was hit us on the break. And yeah, look, he's doing very well.
So who's your man of the match against Roma?
Oh, my man, the Roma match, 100% Chiellini, 100%.
Yes.
100%.
100%, yeah. Hopefully, he won't get injured again. Hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully. So now, let's go through the match against Inter, the second leg of the semi-final.
Yeah.
Who would you like to play?
Who would I like to start the game? Yeah. My ideal situation would be I'd like Morata and Ronaldo to start the game. I think as I mentioned earlier, I'd like to see Juventus go out and try to get 1 or 2 goals as early as possible, and then maybe you could think about potentially resting Ronaldo if we already have away goals. I know he doesn't like to do that.
Yes,
that's
the main.
He hates it.
What when he was substituted, Pirlo, when he's not happy, Pirlo already said, not in the contract that I cannot substitute you. It's not in the contract, So I hope yes, he wants to play again, but he have to know there's lots of matches, important matches. It's waiting for his service. So I hope that maybe to rest him, we don't know. Yeah, he has been brilliant for us, but there's a lot of other important matches is coming up. So hopefully he can understand, and Pirlo is Pirlo. So you can't do anything.
I mean, the thing is, it's a cup game, so you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If Inter start the game really well, and if they score, then it can be really difficult. But if Juventus get the first goal, Inter will their heads will go down. They'll be really they'll be feeling sorry for themselves. They won't be they'll be deflated, they'll be flat, they won't be full of courage, But and the back line, I mean, would you like to see Chiellini play? Like that's one as well.
Are you maybe we should put Delete and Demiral again against Inter, or resting Chiellini for the Napoli match?
Yeah, I'd like to see Buffon.
Yeah,
and I'd certainly like to see Delict and Demiral, and potentially Danilo beside them. But I think it's crucial when you have like Delict and Demiral that you have somebody there beside them who's very experienced and can talk to them. Always talking, telling them, okay, move here, move there.
Yes, true. I agree.
I think that's very important because we forget, because these guys are actually incredible athletes and they're very, very good football players, but they're only 21 years of age and 20, so it's very easy for them to make a mistake. They don't have the benefit of experience. So yeah, if Chiellini isn't going to play, I would absolutely like to see Buffon play, and we should be good then. I think, as I said, I think it will be a more attacking game, and hopefully we can get the goals early. So yeah.
So because on my previous content with some of the Juventini, do you agree that they want the midfield to be more tough, more robust because we are too clean in the midfield because nobody is like the ex Juventini like Vidal. There's lots of rough player in the midfield to stop the opponent's midfield of playing. Are we lacking of that in the midfield?
Yeah, I think. Are we missing that? I think McKennie does a very good job to do that. I actually think Bentancur does a good job.
Yeah.
When he's tackling, and he's actually been quite consistent on the defensive side of things, Bentancur. That's actually been, I think that's the reason why he's been playing so often this season, because defensively he does put in a lot of tackles. He runs a lot, and he helps out. The other side of things are, his ball control, his passing have been questioned at times. But I think the McKennie, Bentancur, and Artur combination, I think that's probably our best midfield. Rabiot's had a good couple of games. The Roma game, I watched it back afterwards. Initially, I wasn't paying attention to him, but I watched it back afterwards, and he actually did have a good game, So I probably would change my rating. People were giving out to me because I gave him like a 5.5, and people were like, "Oh, you're way too harsh,"
Sorry for that, Rabiot. Very sorry that Colin give you 5.5. He will change. Maybe he will change after seeing.
Yeah.
So what rating will you give him? On the
I would change it. I'd probably give him a 6.5. But for me, that's a good rating. Like, I don't like the highest rating that I gave for the Roma game was Chiellini, and that was
true.
Yeah. I gave him an 8.5, but that's because he was unbelievable. Like, I mean, unbelievable. Every cross that came in,
yes,
he just headed it out. Like, it was unreal. And for a guy who's 36 years of age, and to be doing that, it really, is outstanding. So yeah.
Okay, if you have the chance, the opportunity to buy a player, just one player, who will you buy for the team?
Just one player. I'd certainly buy a midfielder. I probably would go I probably go for Locatelli.
But you have to sell a player from Juventus. Who will you choose?
To sell, I'd sell Ramsey. I'd sell Ramsey in a flash. I know a lot of people like Ramsey, but I, I think he's okay, but he gets injured a lot,
Yes,
and
yes.
yeah, like it's not his fault, but he's on huge wages as well, massive contract. So yeah, I would get rid of Ramsey and I bring in Locatelli. You know, if I had the choice.
I think if Khedira still in Juventus, you would sell Khedira instead of Ramsey. But
Yeah, oh yeah.
finally, he have flown back to Germany to Hertha Berlin. Thank goodness, thank you Hertha Berlin, thank you for taking him. So,
Yeah.
so okay, the last, what's your prediction against Inter, the second leg? Your prediction.
Prediction. I'm going to give it 2-0. I'm really confident that Juve will start strong and score the goals. The reason why I'm confident about that is because Ronaldo is kind of he played really well in the last game, and he scored obviously. So he tends to do that. Like when Ronaldo scores, he tends to score in this game and then the game afterwards and then the game after that, and then it goes on and on and on. And every now and again he gets a few weeks or a month where he's quiet. Like if you can remember last season in November, like he was quiet, but then he scored in every single game, like for for months after that. So I'd be fairly confident that Ronaldo will get a couple of goals for us, and hopefully we can keep a clean sheet. It would be excellent to keep a clean sheet,
But are you ready to lose Ronaldo, or maybe he's quit Juventus? Which player would you want to see to replace him?
Question. If Ronaldo left, the only players I would love to see is Haaland. Haaland is he's a very strong player, a very very strong player. Kind of reminds me of Ibrahimovic a little bit. Kind of reminds me of Ibrahimovic. Very talented player, and he can score a lot of goals. Like his numbers are fantastic. So, but that would be very very expensive. I'm not sure if Juve could afford that. Maybe they can. I don't know. We never really know. But I think it might even be cheaper to renew Ronaldo for another season or potentially 2 seasons than it would be to get someone like Haaland, because you could be talking like 150 million for Haaland. That's a lot of money.
Yes.
But, that's a hell of a lot of money. So, yeah.
Okay. So, you are a Juventini since the early 90s. So,
early to mid-90s, yeah.
Okay. Now, if you can see the future of Juventus, lots of young players is being recruited. It is something new that we see, like not in the old days, that lots of experienced players are being brought up to the team. Like nowadays, a lot of new young players that Pirlo brought in as a replacement or something's the future of Juve. So how do you feel? Are you really happy to see that it changes, or you still want to have that tradition like the oldest? What's your take on it?
I'm really excited. I think it's brilliant that the under 23 side is doing so well. Like I I think it's funny. I mean, I think they're mid table in Serie C, and it's just interesting. I don't know how this would work, but imagine if they won the league and
Yes.
then and ended up going to Serie B,
Yes. Yes.
and like, is it, could we have two Juventus teams?
Yes. Yes.
I don't think it would work, but they're putting decent team together, so there's a lot of exciting players. The Portuguese guy, Correa,
Yeah.
really interested to see him. I'd love to see him get a game. Maybe it probably won't be until next year now, or maybe the last game of the season, if we've already won the league or something like that. Fingers crossed. But
Yes. Yes.
he probably won't get an opportunity until next season now. But he looks fantastic, and we saw another guy there. Was it? Yeah, it was last week. Dabo is his name. If you remember, he had a shot from about the halfway line,
Oh.
and yes, and it hit the post and
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. True. True. Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, it was incredible, and I've actually started watching the games, like the under 19s and the under 23s, because like I have the subscription. Obviously, yourself
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you have the JOFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get the subscription for JTV, and you can watch the under 19s and under 23s. So yeah, it's great. The only thing about it is like because we don't pay any money for these kids, and then they're 21, 22, and it could be, if some of them look good, um, you can sell them for like 10, 15, 20 million,
But
and
will
you
you
can
agree
make.
that we have to sell them or we have to keep them?
I hope we keep the best, the best of them. Like hopefully Korea will be one of the best. Hopefully, like we see Fagioli is now playing in the first team squad as well. So yeah, like I hope we keep the best, but there's also potential to make money
Yes, true.
from guys, and
Yeah.
like if we're thinking about like signing a big player at the end of the season, like I really don't know. Like I don't know where the money is going to come from, except
Yes,
for
true.
you
That
know,
is the only this is the only way that we groom the best from the under 23. When there's a value, you to sell them because we have to pay the first team money. So Juventini out there, do not be sad of like we have a new, how to say, the best youngster that going to play for Juventus first team, but at last we have to sell them. It's part of parcel about business because we need to pay the first team. So
yeah.
don't be sad or be angry of why Juventus have to do this, have to do that. Yeah, you have to see the whole picture that we need to do because we need to pay. You want the best player. That is how the, how the marketing does. So are you happy with Paratici, what we have done so far for the squad?
I think he's done a good job overall. He's got a lot of criticism,
Yes, yes,
and like some of it, wasn't even his fault. Like some of it goes back as far as Maratta, the previous technical director, and like renewing certain players' contracts, like Khedira getting a new contract, and then we're stuck with him for, until now, but it would have been the contract ran until June, I think. So the fact that we got players like Demiral, we got Delict, we got Artur,
yes,
uh, we got Kulusevski, we got McKennie. Kulusevski still needs to prove himself,
yeah,
but all of the other players that I've mentioned there have proven themselves for Juventus. So he has done a good job. He actually has done a good job, And I think at the end of the season, he will be smiling, and people will maybe change their minds about him. And maybe people will say, "Oh no, actually, will you stay? Stay with us, don't go." And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's funny how things like that work. You know what I mean? You can be criticizing somebody right now, and then a week later, you're having to eat your words. You're, oh my god, maybe it's like Bernardeschi. Like everybody criticize him a lot.
Will you sell him?
Yes. Yeah.
I think he have to play more in the lower team to build his confidence, this and that. Then it's loan or sell.
Yeah. I'm kind of tired of loans. I would be like, no, give me the money. And
yes.
Yeah. But he's not a bad player. He really isn't a bad player. He's not a bad player. I think maybe.
But he plays well in the Italian squad. He plays well, but not
Very well.
He never plays well in the club.
Yeah. I think maybe there's more pressure for Juventus than there is with Italy. I mean, I know he wears the number 10 jersey for Italy, or has done a few times. So you think maybe it's the opposite, but no. With Juventus, like, you have to win every single game. You know what I mean? And the pressure is on, and you just have to deal with that, or you don't deal with it. And maybe that's his that's his downfall. That's his issue. So.
Yeah. To all Juventini, don't forget, we are Juventus. We want to win everything. That's our goal, to win everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, last but not least, where do you want to put Dybala when he comes back?
Where do I want to play Dybala? I would play Dybala where Kulusevski is playing. So that's my opinion. I know a lot of people like to see him as a number 10. I know because he's very creative, and he can get between the lines and the spaces between the defense and the midfield, and he's good there. But I feel, physically he's maybe not strong enough. Like, he can be pushed off the ball a little bit easy.
Yeah.
But the positive side of it for me, the reason why I like to see him up front, is, for me, his best characteristic is his finishing. I think when you see him in front of goal, he rarely makes stupid mistakes. He rarely, puts it over the bar or strikes it miles wide. He's done that a couple of times this season, but it's because of his fitness. But I think his finishing is top quality. His left foot is really, really good. So you have to get him close to goal so he can shoot. You have to get him to shoot, and otherwise he won't score, So that's where I would play him. And
but
I do think,
will you put him in the starting 11? Because now the team is playing well. The winning streak is continuing. Means 4, 5, 6 games without losing. So when Dybala is well, would you put him as a first 11 or a substitution?
For now, a substitute, definitely. And I would give him a chance, once he gets his fitness up, I would give him a chance. I'd put him on for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, or maybe even half an hour. But I would start with, as I said earlier on, with Ronaldo and Morata, because those guys are doing really well. Even Kulusevski is doing quite well, and the team is doing well when he's playing, But I would definitely give Dybala a shot. I'd give him 20 minutes, half an hour in a game, and and try and score a goal. You know what I mean? And then,
Yeah.
you know, once he's worked himself back in and built the confidence, it's like, yeah, okay, you know, maybe we can start you in a game, and you know, build your confidence and do well, you know, again. Like we all know, he has the potential to be a world class player.
Yes.
But there's always been some issues, and
or maybe that number 10 that he's wearing,
that's a really good point.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But lots of players I could have said that about. I mean, I preferred Paul Pogba when he was wearing number 6, you know, and then they gave him the number 10, and things, I don't think they worked out quite as well, you know.
Yes. Maybe for him, what I see is it's like a quicksand, you know, a quicksand. When you drop into a quicksand, you try hard to struggle to save yourself, but the more you struggle, the more they pull you down. So like now, maybe his value is still high. Or if you are the director of football of Juventus, if the right price came for him, would you sell? Would you sell him?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I would. If the right price, I mean, if someone came along at the end of the season and said, we'll give you 100 million for Dybala, or 80 or 90 million for Dybala, then I would say yes. But like the key, like it's more complicated than that. I mean, the likelihood of that happening in this, you know, the current market with COVID, it's very unlikely. You might get someone come along and say, we'll give you 50, 60 million, maybe 50, you know, and I would say no, because like we're trying to negotiate a contract with him at the moment. Like, and you know, there's a couple of interesting things I'll come to on that as well. But if we get him to sign a new contract, then it gives us greater negotiating power with the, you know, the other teams. Like, for instance, Manchester United have been linked with him. Obviously, there was, you know, when we could have got Lukaku, there was a potential swap there at the time.
Yes. That time when potential swap with Lukaku, are you happy it happens? If it really happens, or will you not swap with Lukaku?
At the time, I said no. I remember I was saying no, don't do it. You know, don't do it. And I didn't want Juventus to do it. And I've changed my mind now. I'm kind of, I think, I try to think of the bigger picture. You know what I mean? Like, we have this kid, and he's a forward. You know what I mean? And like, what does a forward do? Like, a forward has to score goals. Do you know what I mean?
True.
He's got to score goals. And you look at his performance at the end of the season, and you're like, 11 goals. Like, he got the MVP for Serie A last year. I think he only scored 11 goals. I could be wrong now. I could be wrong. Don't kill me, people. But I could be wrong. But I think he only scored 11 goals in Serie A. And, you know, I know he did lots of other things, but he's a forward. Do you know what I mean? A forward needs to score goals. Like, you could say, you know, you couldn't talk about Ronaldo like that. Like, Ronaldo is, when he goes on the field, he's like, yeah, I'll give a few passes. I'll pass to you maybe once or twice. I'll pass to you maybe once or twice. But I'm here to score goals.
Yeah.
Like, and that's it, you know, and that's his job. So, like, with that in mind, I don't think he does enough. So, like Dybala. So, if the offer comes, but it would have to be a very big offer, I would accept it. Yeah.
What's the best formation for Juventus right now? The best formation, if you is under Pirlo. If you are Pirlo, what is the best formation you would want to play with the squad you have now?
That's a really interesting question. That's almost like, what would I do? If I was Pirlo right now, I keep going the way he's going. He's playing the hybrid 4-4-2,
Yes.
switching to 3-5-2,
Yeah.
And you know, I think the key part of that, like, and everybody has said it this year, everybody says it. We talk about it every single game. We talk about the midfield, and if the balance and the right players are in the midfield, then it doesn't seem to matter. You know what I mean? We can survive with the 4-4-2 as long as like McKennie, Bentancur, and Artur are there. We can also do the same with the 3-5-2. I like personally when those three guys are playing close together, and not spread out.
Yes.
I like when they're close together in midfield. I think they can win a lot of possession and pass the ball well, and they can actually dominate a team. So yeah, like I'm really happy with his tactical setup. The 3-5-2, I like it. I also like to have. I like when we have two guys up front. So Morata and Ronaldo. I like that there's two guys up front and not just one, because double the chance of scoring.
Yeah, so true. Okay. Before we say goodbye to all the viewers, any last words from you to all Juventini that's watching?
I love chatting to all the Juventus fans all over the world. Doesn't matter where you're from. If you see me on Twitter, drop me a comment and let me know your thoughts on things. And I really, really, really would love to one day meet all of you guys at the Juventus Stadium.
Have you been to the Allen Stadium before?
No, I've never been to the Allianz Stadium before. Never been.
Hopefully, after this COVID-19 is over, we can meet in person in the Allianz Stadium, and we can do the podcast live outside the stadium. Who knows? In Turin.
Who knows what we could do? Yeah.
Yeah. So
it would be amazing.
Okay. So again, Colin, thank you so much from us for being part of the podcast and to have your busy schedule and time to join us to do this content with us. We appreciate, and to all Juventini out there, don't forget to watch out for a new episode every weekend. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and channel. And again, to check on Colin Powell in Twitter. You can add him in Twitter. You can find him, and who knows, we will meet someday in the stadium. Then it will be an amazing how to say situation out there when everyone when we watch the podcast. When see each other, then in reality we can meet in person. Who knows? As a big family of Juventus supporters. So again, thank you, Colin. Thank you for everything. Thank you for sharing your experience, how you became Juventini, and the discussion we talk about. It's a great fun. Thank you again. But don't forget this. We will be in touch soon, maybe in another episode in the future, and remind everyone that it's a Champions League night this month. So away against Porto. So fingers crossed, we have 4 trophies to win, but step by step we gonna take it step by step, and hopefully the semi-finals, the Coppa Italia against Inter Merda, we can win and look forward to the final and win another trophy for Pirlo. It will happen. Very optimistic that it will happen. Okay, Colin. Thank you very much.
Ciao, Iskander.
Ciao. Stay safe and healthy, and fino alla fine for the event. Ciao, ciao. Thank you. Bye. Bye, Colin. Bye.